Today we are roasting the critics who hate Air Force One. Joe Baltake from Sacramento Bee says Harrison Ford cannot save Air Force One. Well, I'm sorry, Joe, but I'm afraid he did. He repeatedly puts his life on the line for not only his family, but his entire administration. He even values the secretary's life. If you ask me, it's as real as it gets. I believe that any president would forfeit his or her life for the smallest amongst us. President Biden, Calvin Coolidge, both of the Bushes, but probably not Lincoln. Yeah, I don't know. He ended up becoming a metalhead.
Party on, dudes!
Sure, it was the 1800s, but he was well ahead of the times. E! Online says, a die-hardly pick that pits President Rambo against Oldman's boilerplate Russian hijacker. And I'll tell you, E! Online, I would vote for President Rambo anytime. Now, of course, as long as it was a leap year. And you gotta think, this movie came out in the 90s. We practically had a free pass from Russia to make them the star bad guys in all of our action movies. It made me fear Russians. And I don't know if I'm supposed to still fear Russia because of this war with Ukraine. Do I root for them? Do I boo them? I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that Gary Oldman must be stopped at all costs. What is an astronaut's favorite game to play? Marco Polo, which is where Dan Jardine is from. Dan Jardine is coming at us from Apollo Guide. Dan writes, Air Force One has neither the wit to laugh at its own absurdity, nor the wisdom to mock its pretensions. And comedians, they're absurd. What about the ones who stop to laugh at their own jokes? They are likely to get a Boston cream pie thrown at their face if they do that. A delectable Boston cream pie smuggled into the room from the nearby Marie Callender's. And then you realize the audience is no longer laughing at the jokes. The audience is now cracking up at the chocolate ganache drizzling down the comedian's face. It looks like he might cry, but he's not the only one with a broken heart. I go up and start licking it off him, munching the buttery sponge cake off his face. And then the audience just starts to get weirded out. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault my second grade teacher, whom I was now dating because it was finally legal, chucks my Boston cream pie at the comedian's pie hole. I wanted to eat it. I was the one who risked being banned from the club for smuggling my Boston cream pie from Marie Callender's. I wanted that pie. I wanted to eat the damn thing. Gosh, that's so hard to understand. So no, Dan. Sometimes this is nothing to laugh about. Just because somebody cracks wise at a file midget who happens to teach the second grade doesn't mean that gives you the right to chuck my Boston cream pie into the comedian's face.
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm talking about Air Force One, the movie.
Okay, calm down a little bit.
I'll just go on to the next one. Sorry. Rob Blackwelder from Spliced Wire says Air Force One hasn't a moment of genuine tension because every development is entirely expected. All right. Is this guy out of his pecker-loving mind? I bet he didn't know this, but this movie had an alternate subtitle. It was the plane movie that had so much tension that you need seatbelts to watch it. I'm telling you, I lost count the number of times I fell on the sticky theater room floor the first time I saw this movie. It is really hard to balance on the seat when it is still folded up just to have something to do while the movie is playing. They need to have a lock, and then if it's up, then they lock it, and then people like me can sit on top of the thing when the seat is up, and then it's not so hard to balance. I could just, I could sit there sturdily. Wade Major from Box Office Magazine says, unfortunately, as the film winds to a close, claustrophobic tension once again gives way to overblown digital effects and set pieces. Yeah, but you at home or on the toilet, tell me how great this plane crash at the end of the movie looks. Doesn't that hold up? Take a back seat, Peter Jackson. These effects are still in. Globe and Mail says it flies on and on until its power to hold us simply peters out. If anyone's Peter is out at any point in this movie, I want to know where, because I saw no shower scenes. All right, before we close out, let's go on over to the audience reviews. Gordo R gives Air Force One 3.5 stars out of 5. He says, great action movie with the always dependable Harrison Ford. Yeah. Harrison is anything but dependable. I'm not going to go into details, but I write him letters a couple times a year, and he never returns them. I've written so much, I've forgotten what I've told him. That's all. That's all I've got. He's not dependable. He's a jackass. I get letters all the time from banks that I don't even have an account with. And I write them a thank you for their letters. Maybe he'll write back. I don't know. Monkajargle A gives it 5 stars, says, it was a movie with my favorite actor. The actor is an actor who is known for acting brilliantly in any role. Huh. Interesting. But I saw Kevin Costner as an actor. Nothing was brilliant about that. He goes on to say, it must be really difficult to make a movie about a plane being hijacked. It turned out to be a very interesting movie. If you're going to talk about the technical difficulties of making a movie about a plane being hijacked, and then you end that with a sentence that says, very interesting movie. I think your passport needs to be taken away. I don't trust you. Ahad J gives it 5 stars. It was a really good movie. Very instructive. Hello? I wouldn't trust you for anything. I don't like this. I don't like the people that are watching this movie. This should not have been made. 1997? And now we have all these plane crashes coming out of the woodworks in 2025? I don't like this. This is not a good movie. Don't watch it. If you're mean, if you want to pick fights, if you're looking for an instructional on how to hijack a plane, just don't, please. I'm getting on a plane next week to visit the very first McDonald's, and I'm really excited about that. Please don't ruin that trip for me. Please. I could even break into the cockpit and help the pilot land in like a field or like a town, like just right on the middle of like Maple Avenue, right? That's a good idea. I like that. So I would have to get on the plane with like a crowbar, right? That could work. That way I'm keeping myself safe. You know, I'll break into the cockpit and I'll say, the plane's on fire! The plane's on fire! Because you have to yell it so loud. I'm taking over! I would yell to let them know my intentions. I'm taking over this plane! Oh, that can work. That can work. You'd put his hands up and then I grab the controllers. I'm taking us down! I'm taking us down! I'd yell. Huh. This is a cool movie. Oh, everybody needs to watch it. I love it. This is great. Very instructional. Roger L gives Air Force One 1 star. Says, Harrison Ford must have had a bad period in his acting, and that doesn't make sense. No, he's not a girl. Kyle E gives it 4.5 stars and says, love seeing the president kick ass. Well, Kyle, welcome to 2025. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't hate me. Come on. But really, welcome to 2025. All right, so for our most honest reviews of Air Force One, we have Mike Macy with Gone with the Twins. He says, a capable thriller bearing Wolfgang Petersen's signature flair for suspense. And then we have Danielle Solzman from Solzy at the Movies. That's a bit pretentious. It says, Air Force One holds up almost 25 years later, and the film remains one of the greatest presidential action thrillers to grace the big screen. I agree. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. All right, today we are roasting the critics. Today we are roasting the critics. Today we are roasting the critics who hate Air Force One. If anyone's Peter is out during this